for me, it was always, like, I knew for myself that I was always gay. Like, I just always knew from a young age that I liked women. You know, I think that's something that runs deep with a lot of the LGBTQIA plus community, is that you always have a feeling that you're not normal, or that, like, you don't follow the straight and narrow path of, like, what your community expects. So for me, it was just always, I knew I was gay, and I think my family always knew. And there was a moment when, like, I was with my dad, and I was like, so do you like Loranda? Do you think she's nice? And he was like, yeah, she's all right. And I'm like, we're together. And my dad was like, well, I knew that.
I was well aware that I was gay in like 7th grade. I had the biggest crush on my best friend. She knows now. But I was well aware then. I dated some boys throughout high school. Every 6 months, I dated the same one. Flash forward to college, and I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm not at fear. And literally the day I moved in, my mom took me to Olive Garden, and she starts asking whether or not I was going to get a boyfriend and if I was gay. I started bawling my eyes out, and I was like, yes, Mom, I'm gay. Like, I'm so sorry I didn't tell you. I'm literally just sobbing at my local Olive Garden. And the waitress comes over, and she's just like, ma'am, are you okay? And my mom was like, oh, she's fine. She's just gay. And I was just sitting there mortified, and I was like, oh my God. And she was like, a mom just knows.
It was a hard couple months after coming out. I will say that I was raised in a Christian childhood, or a Christian home, I shall say. And I went to a private Christian school about 6 years of my life. I still have Christian beliefs. I don't go to church anymore for obvious reasons of judgment and things like that. But I still respect everyone, and everyone respects me a lot more now that I'm open. I found out that once I opened up to who I was and started showing more of myself, that it became a lot easier. And just ignore the haters. That was just something I had to really get in my head, because I let them get to me a lot, and I shouldn't have, because that's what they wanted.
Mine was very simple. I was told I was. It was like every day. You little faggot. Literally. I'm not even joking. I was literally told that. But, I mean, I already knew. I knew when I was in the 3rd grade. There was no hoorah. There was no great separation or divide. It was, hey, I'm gay. It was like, okay, we know. Congratulations.
So the day that I came out to my father was just a few months ago, whenever I went to him and I said...
And how old are you?
Oh, I'm 37. And
wow.
So I went to my dad and I was like, are you proud of me? And then, you know, he was like, what? And I said, are you proud of me? I said, have I made you happy? And I started crying. He said, well, honey, I couldn't be more proud of you if you became a doctor today. And I said, even if I have a boyfriend. And he was like, well, that don't matter to me. You know?
Do what?
Yeah, he said, do what? And I said, even if I love Brian. And he was like, well, I knew, I just didn't want to say anything. And, you know, it kind of went from there. And I said, well, I have something else to tell you, too. I was like, we're getting married in August.
To the best of everyone's knowledge that was involved in our case, we are the first same-sex couple using assisted conception
To adopt a
to
child.
do a step-parent adoption in the state of Kentucky.
And that was a big deal because...
That was a big deal. From a legal standpoint, there were a lot of hoops to jump through that were not gay-friendly.
Before, it was like our family couldn't exist. And I know that sounds silly, but it's something that we've talked about, cried over, prayed over, everything, because to have someone say, well, you can't have a family, you're not a safe home.
So we have 3 kids. We have a 7-year-old, a boy, a 7-year-old. We have a 6-year-old boy, and we have a 4-year-old little girl. Our middle child said, so you're getting married? And I said, yes. And he said, to a grandma? I said, no. He said, to a woman? I said, no. And I said, who you think I'm marrying? And our oldest child said, to Daddy. And he said, Pops, you're marrying Daddy? And he said, well, who's going to wear the dress? And I said, nobody.
I think our family's just like any others. We do everything that a normal family does. They have chores, we have pets, we go on vacations. So our family, I love my family. I wouldn't change it for the world, but there's nothing exciting or exotic about having a same-sex family.
We're pretty boring.
We just have two moms. They both know that they have two moms. They tell their friends they have two moms. So the family dynamic, it's not awkward or hush-hush or like an embarrassing thing. Our kids know that some families have a mom and a dad, some have two dads, some have two moms, some have grandparents. Like, they know that a family dynamic is different for each household.
So I've always been interested in the beauty world, the fashion, the beauty of everything. I absolutely loved it. Makeup's always something I was fascinated by. I got into it, honestly, probably my 8th grade year. I got into makeup, like doing it on myself, like behind the scenes. I never showed anybody my makeup looks. I would do them and take them off real fast. Still, I kind of do that. I'll put it on and then take a picture and then take it right back off. But I post it on Instagram, which is something I didn't do before. So I wouldn't really consider myself a very successful beauty influencer, but I mean, I like to consider myself someone that someone can come to with makeup advice. I do have like a TikTok following and an Instagram following, but it's not something that I look at every day as like, oh, I'm an influencer. I just want to be real with everybody. Let everyone know that it's okay to be yourself. That's my whole brand, Beautiful. I founded it around the concept, like just simply be you, be yourself. Don't be afraid to be open and be who you are.
A lot of people don't know this, but I started off in pageants as a child. I quit whenever I realized I was gay in middle school, kind of through high school, and then after I came out, I was like, okay, I can do this again. And to preface, I competed in Miss Kentucky, which is a part of the Miss America organization. It took me 4 years to win a prelim, to even go to Miss Kentucky.
Hello, Ashley. How you feeling?
Might not be the best pageant answer, but I am here, queer, and ready to rock and roll.
Yes, I love it. Now draw your question.
There we go.
All right.
I lost 13 times in a row to finally get my chance on that stage. And at the point that I finally won my local title, that was the first pageant that I'd ever talked about being gay in an interview. All the other ones, if an LGBT topic came up, I was never like, well, as an outed lesbian, I was like, oh, well, this is what I believe. So I finally got to talk about it, and that was the pageant I won. And I was like, okay, so maybe the problem is that I'm not being completely congruent with like everyone on social media is where I'm gay, but I'm not talking about it in pageants. So I was like, maybe if I talk about it, it'll go a little better for me. And that is actually what ended up happening. And then kind of going forward, after that span of a year, I gained almost 300,000 followers. So there was really no hiding or denying that I was an openly lesbian woman in a pageant. But with that growth, I was like, okay, people support me. Whether the pageant community does or not, because I didn't really know at this time, I'm loved, I'm supported regardless. And after waiting so long to get on that stage, the most important thing was for me to be on the stage, not who I thought the judges wanted. I wanted to be me.
We can't say it's the first Pride in Eastern Kentucky because Moorhead beat us, but no, that's good. But we have been saying it's the first Pride in the coal fields, so we'll take that.
So with Appalachia, you don't expect gay. Like, that's just not what you expect when you hear the word Appalachia. But the community here is strong. Like, we now have Pride Month, which is something I never thought we would have. Like, it's honestly surprising me more and more as each day goes on at the support that I get in Appalachia, because I didn't expect that.
I have had zero repercussions about the person that I am.
Honestly, we've had more acceptance in Appalachia, believe it or not, than what we did in the city.
And more acceptance with, this is going to be the kicker, 50 plus age group.
Yeah.
And that was a
huge big
moment,
deal
probably
because
the biggest moment of my lifetime.
Yeah, because we had discussed marriage, and I think the big thing was, well, it's legal here but not legal there. So that's something we really struggled with, because we were like, our relationship isn't allowed in this state. Like, we're not supposed to be, so we have to go somewhere else so we can be accepted. And I think that was hard.
Yeah.
So when they finally said same-sex marriage is legal through all 50 states, as cheesy as it is, we cried because we realized now in the eyes of the law, we could be a family.
It still took us 6 months to find somebody who was willing to marry
Yeah.
us. So after that, I decided to get ordained so that nobody else hopefully would have that problem. I haven't married a gay couple. I've married lots of straight couples, oddly enough. But you know, that way you don't have to leave home. I can do that for them.
At that point in time, we said we were not going to do it because it was just everybody would think that our relationship was not as real as what it is, because we thought they're only getting married because it's legalized now, and that wasn't the case. Ryan,
I mean, there's straight couples that go their entire lives and never get married. The same conflicts arise for straight couples as it does for gay couples, and just because you are allowed to do something or unable to do something doesn't make your relationship any less or more real.
because in my heart, we were already married, you know, and so
Not mine, I didn't have a ring.
Now I do feel a lot more validated, but whenever I was first coming out, a lot of people would go with the, you know, age-old slogan, the, oh, it's just a phase, or, oh, you're too pretty to be gay, or, oh, like, you can't be gay and be in pageants, oh, you can't be gay and be a doctor, and just all of these little you can't statements. Those have started dissipating a little bit more over the years of being out. I've been out for about 5 years now.
I feel like I probably wasn't taken seriously, but I didn't acknowledge it. So I feel like I established a name for myself, and people either overlooked the fact that I was gay or they just didn't care.
I can honestly say I don't feel that I've ever been discriminated against for being a lesbian in this area.
I think,
Which is awesome, because a lot of people think small towns, small minds, and that's not the case.
and it's really not for Whitesburg. And we talked about that question because I was like, I don't think there's ever been an instance when anybody in our town has treated us less than, discriminated against us, or outcasted us because we were gay.
I didn't have a single hard time about
who you were.
Yeah,
what
I
you
mean,
are.
there was absolutely nothing to make me feel unloved. There was nothing that made me feel different.
Less than.
Yeah, there was nothing that made me feel less than.
We have toyed with the idea of leaving for jobs and that kind of thing, but I don't think
it ever actually holds any value, because like everyone's like, oh yeah, God, I want to move, I want to get out of here, but we've never actually gone to the point of, okay, let's actually move. I think our I think our roots are just here, and I think they're just going to stay.
If somebody is contemplating leaving versus staying, the only thing you can do is be nice to them to make them realize there are people here that want you. However, if you have that urge to want to leave,
Spread your wings and fly.
go. Do not limit yourself, because when you do, you become bitter.
Yeah.
You feel like, I should have done that. If you feel like you have the option,
You can't live on what ifs and regrets.
No,
You can't
and
do that.
If you feel like you want to leave and go somewhere, go ahead.
Do it.
But always remember this: no matter how many leaves fall off a tree and blow away, their roots remain in the same spot. Just remember that.
But there's also another thing too. The people that love and support you here and that you love and want to be around always, they may not be here either if you leave. So having the people you love here is pretty important. If they love you, stay with them, because you may not get that chance again. So, but yes, definitely spread your wings and fly, especially for a young person. But come back, visit all the time, as much as you can.
The best advice that I could give someone, whether they're in Appalachia or not, is to not come out until you know you're in a safe and secure place to do so. For some people, that might be whenever you are still in middle school or high school and you're starting to really figure it out. If you feel like you have that support system with your intermediate family, great. Like, please come out. The sooner you do, the better you're going to feel. But my priority is making sure that everyone is safe and secure and is able to go home with a roof over their head. And if that means they have to wait a little bit longer to come out, that is perfectly okay. They're still valid.
I know with my situation, I knew I was ready. So I think I can comfortably say that you'll know when you're ready. It'll always be hard. It's going to be hard. Just saying those words for the first time, I'm gay, was so hard. It honestly felt like 1,000,000 pounds was just getting lifted off of my shoulders. It was something I never really grasped, that one day I'll say this and I'll be out to everyone. I never really thought that was possible, but it is possible. Just be yourself, be you, like I say, and you'll get there.
Very scary feeling.
To feel like you're not going to be accepted, or to
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I'm different, I'm going to be shunned. But in all honesty, come out, find who you're supposed to be with, find your partner, and just start your family.
And you can be gay, successful, and Appalachian.